First off, Heisman winners. How we feeling? How we feeling?
Uh, I know in the comments in the video you said yesterday, CJ Stroud, and this was sent to me in our group chat. I don't know. I don't know. Why would how would CJ? Is it because he's with Ohio State?
Of course.
That's it. Okay.
Think about it. First, you got to understand that in college you play a million teams, and you're gonna play different competition every week. So you got to think about Ohio State competition and level of play. You know, you might look at people like Drake May, but Drake May in the ACC, he's not playing really. You know that top tier talent across the college world. But like I said, I mean, he has a case because he has those awesome numbers. Even Michigan Blake, I told Adrian the other day, I think that somebody other than a quarterback might can get the Heisman this year, and Blake Corum could probably be in a running for that too as well.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't like college. I see why I didn't watch it because I don't. It's I don't agree with the rankings sometimes. I think it's. I get it though, Jeff. I understand, and I've been learning this. Obviously, doing this podcast and listening to Adrian, I've been learning how college goes. But man, you can't help who you play, right? That's the schedule.
Exactly, and then you understand too, like college. Like I explained too as well, like the powerhouse conference is the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just naturally how it is, and that's how it is, and that's how it's built.
So to me, okay, so then we can. It's almost like to me, I look at it. I don't know. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Adrian, but I always feel like it's rigged for just SEC then, right? Or SEC. It's
yeah,
rigged.
I agree.
Yeah. So like, what would be the point in even having some of these conversations, even if it's somebody like a Dre May? Because I mean, his numbers are impressive. Look at Dre May. He got 4,000 yards, 39 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And because he doesn't go to a one of those powerhouse schools, he won't even be consideration. Or he will be consideration, but it's almost like a wash. Or like we was
I
talking
mean, again,
about.
yeah, like the level of competition Drake see on a different basis. That's how you got to like kind of judge it.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. If I had to choose, man, I would take. I would love for running back Blake to take it, but I mean, who's the last running back? Was it Trent Richardson that won it? That won the Heisman? The last running back played for Alabama.
No, it was plays for Tennessee now.
Oh, big Derrick Henry.
Yeah. I want to say Derrick Henry was the last one to get it.
Yeah, it was. Did Trent win? He did win it 1 year, didn't he?
I think so.
He did.
I can't remember. I want to say it was Derrick Henry.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. But my favorite would be between Drake May and Blake. But even Hooker, man. Hooker, he's another one, man. His stats are nice too. So
yeah, him and Hooker too as well.
The reason I say CJ Stroud is because they're going to look at his schedule and what has he done, and that's what they're going to look at. Drake Mays, unfortunately, the conference that he's in, it's not a good league, man. That league is just not a good league this year. The ACC is just not good. So unfortunately, he's playing against teams that don't have any kind of secondary to stop him. Hendon Hooker, he would have been in first place. If Hendon Hooker would have won that game against Georgia, he pretty much would have solidified himself to win the Heisman. So at this point, all CJ Stroud got to do is just beat Michigan. He's in. Caleb Williams, he has a shot, but It's it's all about the leagues, man. It's all about the leagues, and I mean,
So
it's just all about the leagues, huh?
the bigger question for me is that I guess as a college football, because am I okay? So would you consider me a fan, or I'm a beginner, right? I'm not a fan yet.
Yeah, you're not a fan yet.
All right. So as somebody that's going to be that wants to become a fan,
I beg to differ. I mean, you can like who you like, and you can be a fan.
well,
I mean, you're a beginner. I mean, you
Yeah,
like
you're
who
a
you
beginner.
like. I mean, that's a fan. You know what I'm saying? That's the definition of fan. You like your team. You got you're a fan. You're part of the fan base.
but
So
go ahead.
It
go
means
ahead.
I mean, you lack knowledge, but you're gonna learn.
Yeah, I guess my thing is if I was a fan outside of trying to become a fan of one of these teams, which I was, because most fans are homers, right? Is where you grew up with, or
Yeah.
stuff like that. But it's like I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Like
in your case, you just following Brady. Yeah, just go ahead and say it. I just want you to say it.
no, I'm not. I'm not. I told.
Why I like Michigan? What stands out from Michigan besides the Fab Five?
Jim
He
Harbaugh.
chose
That you
Oregon
like
first.
Michigan?
Yeah, I like Harbaugh.
Yeah. So yeah, please. The selection process is kind of like it's not you haven't been to Michigan before.
I actually
So
have.
why Michigan?
I have
Oh yeah, my bad. I take that back. My bad. I'm
So
sorry. I shouldn't speak too fast.
my two choices were Oregon and Michigan, and I
Mhm.
saw Oregon got blown out by the Bulldogs. I just
See, you can't do that. No, that's not right. See, you can't like a team because they lose games.
I was.
Oh, Jeff, hold on, hold on now, Jeff.
I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm still a Jaguar fan.
But wait a
I'm
minute.
frustrated though. I'm a
But
frustrated fan, bro.
I feel like I should have like a faux pas, like or not faux pas, but I feel like I should have like a what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever. But because I'm not a college football fan. I'm a beginning college football fan. I'm
Just like me, bro. I mean, like I said, I feel like we're in the same boat because I mean I always liked the college, but college never like piqued my interest. I'm not waking up Saturday morning, oh shit, what's coming on? Who's playing? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest with you. See, the difference is Sunday, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm watching the sports shows to talk who's talking about what's going on, and I'm getting ready to watch multiple games.
Why do we know?
Huh?
What do you do in the NFL? What do you do?
Say it again.
No, we know that because what do you do in the NFL? You know this because you watch games, right?
Yeah, I watched the NFL, bro. I watch games.
I know.
The only wizard that knows the NCAA is Adrian, bro.
Yeah. Man.
I can promise you this. I can promise you who's not going to get it. Who's not going to be in New York?
Who?
Max Duggan and Stetson Bennett. I can agree with that. TCU don't play. They don't play. I mean, they play some top tier teams, but they don't play like team. They blow out a lot of teams because they play a lot of lower tier talent. And like you explained the other day, which makes a lot of sense. As soon as they lose a game, they're gonna drop all the way down.
Well, I ain't gonna say they're gonna drop all the way down. But
I think they're not gonna be like.
They're not gonna be in the top 4. They'll be top 10, but like Max Duggan's not gonna be in. For one, he doesn't have enough yards, and 2, he's just not consistent like CJ Stroud. Well, he's really not consistent like Drake Mays. I'm just surprised Drake Mays doesn't have the highest odds.
And I like to say this too, because I used to be a college football fan, but it's just changed a lot. I like the early 2000, mid 2000 type, football. It was a lot different, a lot more smash mouth. This is kind of like it's kind of toned down a little bit. It's not as exciting as it used to be. I mean, to me, I know a lot of people beg to differ. It's still college football to a lot of people, but man, I remember some of these college games back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But teach his own, man. You know what I'm saying?
I think CJ Stroud right now is in the driver's seat. Hendon Hooker just need to continue to perform and wait and see. Blake Corum, he needs to have a good game against Ohio State, and he
He
needs
has to have
CJ
a
Stroud
monster
to have.
game against Ohio State.
I don't know if he needs to have a. He just he
If
needs to put up.
if
He needs to put up. He needs to put up 200 yards.
yeah, no, I don't think you need 20. I think he get 17 carries and like 179 yards, and they have to beat Ohio State for him to be in that particular bracket and to win and try to have a chance of winning.
Yeah, Drake May. All he got to go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say is that for Drake Mays, all he really needs to do is they need to continue. They need to finish out their regular season, and he needs to have a good show against Clemson. Which, I mean, he has a good shot of doing it. Caleb Williams, I don't know. I mean, I think Caleb Williams is just in a position where he just need to continue to perform, really, because he's playing on a team that's just what's up.
Can we agree that it could be a toss up this year though?
Yeah, I mean, all these like none of these all these candidates they're not standing out like how Bryce Young did last year.
Yeah, like how they did. Yeah,
like Bryce Young did last year is, nobody could stop.
It's unbelievable.
You know what I'm saying? Hell, even like what Joe Burrow did in 2018, 2019, nobody could stop him. I mean, he pretty much solidified. He took the driver. He just took a hold of the bus and kicked everybody else off and just kept driving. All these cats here, they're playing. But it's really a tough competition at this point because you're asking these voters to really be honest. Like Drake May really didn't get no recognition until, week 5, really. And he was putting up good numbers before that, probably week 8. So I just really don't, it is a toss-up. But for Stetson Bennett and Max Duggan, I think, Jeff made a good point. For Stetson Bennett, unfortunately, he plays with a team that has an elite defense. And unless it comes down to a situation where Georgia is going to rely on Stetson Bennett to bail him out, which Stetson Bennett isn't built like the rest of these cats, Caleb Williams, Drake Mays, they can bail you out of games solely with them as a quarterback. Stetson Bennett isn't that guy.
Yeah, and I can tell you this. If Stetson Bennett does get drafted in the NFL, he will go in the 5th or the 7th round.
I don't even know if he is even interested in going to the NFL, to be honest.
But his age is a big deciding factor too as well.
Yeah, I agree, but I just don't know if he's really. I mean, yes, I think he would have a high ambition to play in the NFL, but I really do feel as if from where he was as I'm not gonna say nobody, he was just overlooked by a lot of scouts. Like nobody gave him any kind of chance when he went to any kind of all those walkthroughs and all that and all those scouting opportunities when he went to camps. No real schools really gave him a shot. So at this point, he's playing to continue to prove something. So for him to get to the NFL would be like that would really be the crown jewel for Stetson. But I don't know if he really is, because I mean, like you said, he's an older guy. He's 25. He's been playing college football for as long as he's been doing it. He went to Georgia as a walk-on, left, went to some community college in Mississippi, came back as a walk-on, had to continue to earn his stripes, and then now you actually go to the NFL.
I just don't want him to get that recognition and be because it doesn't translate to the NFL because he'll be another Baker Mayfield. They create these hype guys and then get drafted early and then turn out to be butts and bums.
I can promise you, Stetson Bennett. I think all the scouts, all NFL scouts see what they see with Stetson Bennett, and he's not getting drafted early.
Of course not.
He's definitely not getting. I mean, he'll be if he gets drafted, it'll either be late round, Mr. Irrelevant, or undrafted free agent type there. But I mean, because if you look at Stetson Bennett's mechanics, if you watch like the ball sits in the air too long, it's weird with him. But I mean, he does a good job of managing the game and not doing nothing stupid. Like they just tell him this is what we need you to do.
Reminds me of Ken Dorsey. I'm serious. Ken Dorsey was the best game manager you can ever put in college football history.
Yeah, I just think. Go ahead.
Okay. So how many of these teams? I'm gonna go back to the first question. So Ohio State, the Bulldogs, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
Right. SEC. How many big games do they play a year?
How many they play a year or this year?
Usually on average a year.
So that's all to tell because all of them schedule different. It's all about the schedule.
Florida has the hardest schedule this year by far.
Okay, so we're going back to
how?
Okay.
Look who they played, bro. We played Alabama
every year.
Yeah, but we played y'all. We
Every
played
year.
Tennessee. We
Every
played
year.
all the hard SEC guys.
Yeah, but I mean, at one point, there was a time where Florida was the holy mecca. At one
Of
point,
course. Well, man,
yeah.
that's
So
what
it
we had
wasn't
Tim
so.
Tebow.
Yeah, but even after Tim Tebow, y'all was still considered top. And I mean,
Yeah,
Florida
but
isn't.
after
But
Tim
Florida,
Tebow, we haven't did anything.
yeah, but Florida isn't. Florida isn't a dumpster fire.
Yeah, they are, bro.
Florida isn't a dumpster fire, man. It's just Florida isn't a dumpster fire. Like
We can't beat good teams. That's a dumpster fire to me.
What do you mean? When y'all played Alabama the year when y'all had
we hang with them. I'm talking about
what
winning.
do you mean y'all pushed them? Y'all pushed them to a break. The only reason why y'all lost is just because just that small talent gap.
See, that's the difference. You know, I don't like being like push to the threshold, or we look good, but we didn't get the job done. It's all about winning at the end of the day. You want your team to win or lose.
Don't want my team to win or lose. I want them to win.
Exactly. That's the whole common goal, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna play Georgia every year. You're gonna play Tennessee, and Tennessee is only looking good this year. We don't
always used to play Georgia every year.
Yes, you do. Georgia and Florida are in the same division.
Yeah, of course, but we didn't always. I mean, unless
y'all play Georgia every year.
Became a top tier team as of I think 2015. Because I remember y'all was not relevant at all.
No, Georgia was always relevant.
No,
we just wasn't.
No, y'all wasn't, bro.
Georgia has always been up there, just like Florida was. Georgia, like when Mark before we get off topic, when Mark Richt was at Georgia, he was a 10-game winners coach. That's how many he would average 10 games a win every year. That was his average, 10 to 11 games a year. So it wasn't like Georgia just fell off the face of the planet. It was just the games that he needed to win, he lose. In the games he should win, he will win. So all Kirby did was just push us over that mountain, and it's trying to take us even further. It's the same, So yeah, you're gonna play Georgia every year. You're gonna play Tennessee every year. You're gonna play Alabama every 2 or 3
Tennessee
years.
Just became relevant. I remember
give you that. Tennessee did fall off. It's kind of like how Texas A&M is looking right now.
Just like I said, bro, y'all didn't really become relevant until 2015 because the 2016 year, y'all lost 5 games.
Yeah, that was Kirby Smart's first season. He was a first-year head coach.
Bro, y'all always kind of been not really. I mean,
in the last year with Mark. Okay, in the last year with Mark Richt, that was his last year. He got fired.
I mean,
that 2015 was a terrible 15. That was his last year. And the writing was on
y'all was not relevant in the 90s at all, though.
I'll give you that.
Damn, y'all was horrible.
Yeah,
shit.
I give you that, but that wasn't Mark Richt era.
I mean, of course, that's early 90s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, mid 2000s on in, we won like the top of the cream, but we was in that pot.
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, just before we got off top, what were you about to say, Bob? So we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, no, I just the whole thing is, I guess, so the teams. So I know the whole thing is okay. Somebody like a Drake May or Max who can't be considered because of their schedules or whatever, or the conference they play in. But my question is like a console, like a team like Ohio State, Georgia Bulldogs. How many games do they play where it matters? Like from this season with the Bulldogs, I felt like only 2 games really mattered. Tennessee, like 1 or 2 games. Ohio State, they're expecting these teams to blow out. So why can't a team like North Carolina be considered, or TCU, when I understand that they're the more dominant team because they're in that conference? But I mean, if you look at their schedule, it's not like, are they playing top tier teams every week? Now I can understand they're playing top tier teams every week, but I don't know. The whole year looks like they're only playing 2 or 3 out the year.
Yeah, and I think what kills TCU is, I mean, last year TCU is nothing in the Big 12. This is just their first year, and they're looking good. And if let me put it this way, you take Drake May off of North Carolina, and you drop him, just put him on any school between the Ohio State and SEC. Hell, you can even give him to the heavy. If you would have put him on Clemson, he'll be higher. It'll be a race. If you would have put Drake Mays with Clemson, even though he's in the ACC, you put Drake May on the Clemson team, it'll be different because of the way they're playing. Because Clemson doesn't have a good, legitimate quarterback.
Yeah, Bobby,
so you put Drake May on there.
You know what I'm trying to say? I'm just saying, bro. Like, look,
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like what we were trying to explain to you is that it's because of the level of competition that each team play and what they show their numbers against. It's just that this is just how it is. Because, for example, I don't know if you remember the year where Central Florida was like they had a guy, Shaquille Griffin. And he was just being like, he was like a superstar and all that stuff. They went undefeated, but they played in the Peach Bowl versus playing in the playoffs. You get what I'm saying? It's that same kind of level of activity because they haven't played anybody, of strength of schedule. You know what I'm saying?
I know what y'all trying to say. I get it.
Central Florida would have never got no recognition. Because they just didn't play anybody. I know Central Florida would have. I know they consider themselves. Go ahead.
I agree. No, I agree with what you're saying.
I just think Central Florida feel as if they should have been the national champions.
All right.
But they played an Auburn team that played Georgia. They played Georgia. They beat Georgia. Then they had to play Alabama, beat Alabama. Then they had to play Georgia again. They lost to Georgia. And then when they played Auburn had their players set out for the season to get ready for the NFL. So it was just irrelevant at that point. You see what I'm saying? So now should UCF being considered in the playoff rankings at the time? Yeah. And that's where it comes down to having, and we can get into that on another topic, but this is the purpose of having a 12-team playoffs. Because now you got the argument, well, all right, well, all them teams that's in the 12-team playoff, all their starters are going to start. So you would have had a different outlook.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Cincinnati should even deserve to be in the playoff last year, but they had some great players though.
Okay, well that'll be another topic. I don't want to get in that one. That'll be another topic. But yeah, Bobby, like
I don't know. Man.
I just. But this is what I will say. This is what I will tell you. I didn't mean to cut you off, but this is what I will tell you is that for teams, they all schedule like 3-4 years in advance. So you never really know what your competition is going to be like by the time you get ready to play. You see what I'm saying? So like when Alabama played Florida State, they was thinking Florida State was going to be the same Florida State that had, Jimbo Fisher and that's the quarterback for New Orleans now. They were still thinking Florida State was going to still be that same Florida State until they played them. Same thing with USC. When Alabama played USC, they were thinking USC was still going to be the same USC with Pete Carroll and all them at the helm until, all that left. And then it was a different USC. So you schedule all your like out of conference schedules is like you play your division and your conference, but then they will schedule like, I think it's like 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 teams out of conference. And like what most schools are doing now, they're trying to get the big schools, like how Georgia did it with Oregon. You see what I'm saying? And then they will, schedule those small little schools, but they pay those schools to come pretty much lose. You see what I'm saying? So that's how that goes. But now with the whole playoff picture coming in and relevance and all that stuff, a lot of that might get tossed out the window. So you might have it where, you might see an Ohio State having to travel to travel down to Alabama to play Alabama and, home and home, conference splits, in 2 years. Like Georgia plays Clemson in 2023 or 2024, one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you're going to have that, but it's all about scheduling. But you'll never know what that school will be like 3-4 years from now. You're just betting the odds thinking it would be what you think it's going to be.
Yeah. Oh, I get that.
Like, for example, Georgia, we were scheduled to play Oklahoma next year. They just canceled it. So we can't play Oklahoma because Oklahoma's coming to the SEC. But we were scheduled to play Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's coming to SEC?
Oklahoma and Texas. But yeah, but that was fun.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about it. I was like, yeah, dang. I'll get it. Conference schedule play, difficulty of schedule. I'm looking at numbers. I'm just like, it just don't make sense. But I get it.
Yeah, because you'll never know. But let's go ahead and keep it rolling.